there is a method to the madness of what price is doing, and it's not like on a naked chart even. Like to try and trade a naked chart and understand everything that's going on and where things are likely to fail, you're essentially, as I think you've mentioned before, you're sort of driving with your eyes closed at points. The question I got for you next is like, how did you sort of navigate that?
I got to the point where there was that much conflicting information that I decided to throw it all in the bin and start again. I decided to focus and study what I was looking at and not what everybody else was telling me. And I stared and stared and stared for countless hours at the charts, trying to make sense of what was going on. And I don't believe what we look at is random. I believe that the markets are driven by institutions. And if they want to move price, they need to put orders in the market. And they don't do that randomly. So there's a pattern to what they do. And that the way that they do that, that pattern is what you see with your eyes when you're looking at the chart. All these candles, all these highs, lows, all the pattern, everything that you have got to learn about a chart is being made by them. Understand what it is that they're doing, and they do it over and over and over and over again. It's repeatable. Okay, but it's like it's a pictorial language. That's how I refer to it. It's a language. You got to learn that language. And how I learned that language was through, like I said, an immense amount of study. But rather than focusing on myself, I was trying to focus on what they were doing. What started that move? Why did the market stop there and go the other way? Okay, because the market is full of that every day. It can't go more than 3 or 4 candles on average, and the market changes direction. It's changed direction because it's run into a bunch of orders. Well, why were those orders there? Now they're looking at the same information as me and you. They're looking at the same chart. If it's a time chart, we're looking at the same thing. So they look at that chart and they choose the areas on that chart which to place their orders. And that is what makes the chart print like it does. Once you can work that out, then you understand that the way that the markets unfold is in a particular way, one particular way. For argument's sake, if you want to, because I refer to it as a language. If you went to language school and you wanted to learn French, once you finish the course, you don't come out speaking German, you come out speaking French. In other words, there's one way. And that's how I believe that the markets actually operate. They operate repeatable in that way. Understand what that way is, and you can see where the orders are on the charts.
One of the things you used to say to me was like, you don't know what you don't know. And that's kind of like a confusing statement that I think I've actually heard it before, and it confuses a lot of people. Now, do you want to explain that and expand on it and maybe sort of give the traders out there who are listening, if they're a beginner trader, intermediate, even advanced traders, they might sort of still be stuck in this space and have never gotten out of it. So let's hear from you.
Yeah, sure. I think I'll relate to my journey when I first started, but I think this is probably applicable, right across the board. I came into trading. I wasn't trained, on a trading floor, let's say in London, right, by an institution. So I had to find my own way, like so many aspiring traders do, and they find themselves online. And the first question that I had was, what is it that I need to know? And that sent me down a rabbit hole. It took quite some time to actually come out the other side of that rabbit hole, because I was finding so much different information and I just couldn't discern, or I was having difficulty trying to discern what was good information, what was bad information. And I had to find my way, navigate through that. And I didn't really have any guidance. Okay. As a result, it took me a long time. That's time that really does not need to be wasted by somebody that's new to the industry. They can if they can find an outlet where that where they can find quantifiable information that is needed, that it's generic across the board, that it's applicable to every trader. I'm not talking about strategies, because strategies, are, if you like, can be unique to a trader. I'm talking the very core principles, the things that you need to know, like risk management, for argument's sake. Okay, the very basics. And what I see people doing, and it happened to me, is I was trying to learn advanced stuff before I learned the basics. I was trying to run before I could walk. And that can create you some serious, serious problems. If you jump into this professional game without a good understanding of what's ahead of you and where you're at within that journey. Are you a beginner? Are you intermediate? Are you a more advanced trader? Okay. I think what you'll probably agree on this. I feel as though traders come into this, they're allured by drive a Ferrari in a fortnight, get rich quick. And they want to jump straight into the strategy because that's where they believe the money is. And invariably, they end up blowing accounts. They end up going about it the wrong way. The strategy that they may have been trading that didn't make money from them in its entirety may have been a good strategy. It may have been a good tool. But if you don't know how to use that tool and you don't have the skill set to use that tool, then you can find yourself in a very, very precarious situation quite quick, losing money. And that, I believe, is absolutely essential for all traders. If you're going to learn to trade, learn it in a structured manner that's got an order to it, an order of importance. I never had access to this, and I struggled from that.
You know Blue Guardian as a trusted name in prop trading, but guess what? They're back and they're expanding, introducing Blue Guardian Futures. Futures traders, this is your moment. Blue Guardian Futures is here with a waitlist promo you don't want to miss. Be one of the first 5,000 to grab a challenge and get 40% off plus no activation fee. That's right, zero. Picture this, a smooth 6% profit target, lightning fast payouts, and 24/7 support that's always got your back. And wait for it, a 100% profit share up to 15K. No catches, just pure earnings. After that, you still get an incredible 90%. Want a shot at one of 5 50K futures challenges? Just drop a comment below with your favorite Blue Guardian Futures feature and you're in the draw. So futures traders, get ready. Blue Guardian Futures is launching very soon. Click that link in the description, join the waitlist now, grab that discount and be part of this next level opportunity. It's funny you say that. Like, I mean, it's not even that you believe, you said you believe it, but it isn't really that you believe it, because I mean, you've taught me like pretty much all this stuff, and there's been times, and I still do it to this day, where I'm like, oh, well, JJ's told me that this is not a good place to put a trade. But hey, I don't think JJ's right. I don't believe that he's right. He can't be that right. He can't be that right. The market will not turn here. It's like, this is my set. I've got a setup for going the opposite direction. I'm going to take it. Damn thing does what he says. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's try again. Nah, JJ's setup's not, or JJ's like information is not going to be valid here. And I'm trying to go against what you've taught me, and I fail again. And it's like, so hang on a sec, what's the real problem here? The problem is that I haven't probably studied enough or reminded myself enough of these things or seen it enough times to go, right, this is something that I need to be conscious of and avoid trading into, or get out of my position now, or don't enter, or don't put my stop loss there. All these things factor into what essentially you've been able to decipher from the market. And I'll tell you, look, I've interviewed, hundreds of people, hundreds of traders, and very few of them have what I would say this level of knowledge. Some of them have got like trading strategies that have some elements of this to a certain degree, but not this level of being able to go, this is how the markets actually are driven, and understanding that these are the important things to factor in. You want to factor in like these indicators, you want to factor in these candles, these candle patterns, times a day, structure, overall patterns, that kind of thing. There's so much to it that I believe that, you know, a lot of people discount a lot of it going into it because everyone's come up with the newest thing, like the ICT concept. Oh, it sounds all great and fluffy and that, but sometimes it's actually the tried and true stuff that is where you're going to find the benefit. I mean, have you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that last comment you just made, I find quite fascinating. And I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to knock any sort of education that you find out there. Obviously, there's some good education that you can find online. There's also there's also a lot of scammers and a lot of junk basically going on. And one thing of the courses that I've reviewed that people have sent to me, I've never once came across how to identify when your trade is of poor quality or your setup is of poor quality. Okay, many of these courses will provide education, and it will include a strategy or two or three or several, whatever. Yeah, and yeah, it says, okay, this is the rules of your strategy. When the rules of your strategy are met, take your trade. What they don't teach you, probably because they don't know how to, is to identify that the rules of your strategy haven't just been met. But is that particular occurrence, this particular trade that you're about to take, got a high probability of success or a low probability of success? I don't hear anybody talking about that. And I believe the only way, I say believe, I know from experience that if you can't see where the orders lay on the chart, it's practically impossible to determine whether it's a high probability trade or a low probability trade for that particular setup. And I find that quite, I suppose, disturbing now. I wouldn't have before because I didn't understand that. I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't have that guidance. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have somebody that I could pick up the phone to. I had to literally go back to basics, unravel the whole thing, and start from scratch and go up slowly, one step at a time. Now it was slowly because I didn't have any guidance. It was trial and error along the way. Okay, but I believed at that time that what was going on the charts was decipherable. You can read price like you can read a book, but you can only read that book if you're fluent in that language in which it's printed. So what do we get when we get novices coming in? They're not even learning the alphabet stage. And then they jump onto a chart, not knowing that they need to be fluent in the language if they want to extract the best from that chart. That is what I think became such a huge eye-opener for me. It was the turning point when I realized that I had to learn this language to do well at the markets. Okay. Also, if you do well, a big advantage of being able to do well from the markets. When I mean do well, nobody wins 100% of their trades, but if you can get a healthy win rate, it cuts down on the psychological trauma that's caused by getting, let's say, a string of losses. I don't get those strings of losses. 2 or 3 is usually about as much as I would get. I can deal with that. But it's very different if you've got to deal with 10 losses in a row or 8 losses in a row and you just drew on your account down by 20%. The emotional impact that has on novice traders, it can be detrimental. It is detrimental because they don't have the skills to be able to deal with it. They haven't developed that skill set yet. So, I mean, yeah, looking back, I've said to you on occasion, as you know, I don't know how I done it. I kind of do, but it I don't know. It just eventually the penny dropped and it fell into place. I didn't know when that penny drop moment was going to come. Okay, but it came, and then I put my efforts into being more proficient with that language to become really good at with that pictorial language. And that's where I am today. That's brought me where I am today. But now looking back with a complete understanding of all the pitfalls that I met across the way along the way, because there was nothing structured in front of me that I could follow. That was good, sound information that every trader needs to know.
And look, that's what we're trying to do here in the Dynamic Trader series is kind of bring it back to basics and give you folks like a roadmap of things to be, I suppose, conscious of and really spend your time investigating or learning more about, just so that you're not veering off and I suppose missing out things that are important in when it comes to reading price and trading. Now, one of the things that you did mention was like, I suppose trying to people just don't know. They'll go and learn a strategy. They just don't know what they're trading into or whatever. If you guys want to see a good example of that, go and check out the video we shot just, I think it's probably this week that it dropped. Go and check it out. It's Tony's trade, and we actually break it down. You're going to get to see some of the technical analysis stuff that JJ does kind of at a high level, but it's still really useful. And you're going to understand why this guy sort of wouldn't have taken that trade that lost and how you can spot trades that will win. Now, the other thing you can do is jump down below and find the form. If you do want to have your trade analyzed and find out why you lost, then please jump down there, find that form and fill it in. Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below. What we want to do now is dive into the Dynamic Traders Club. Where are we at now? We've, as we mentioned, got a beta tester. We're only sort of down to one beta tester at the moment, trading this approach. Now, I'm going to actually dive into a chart and show you what he is one of the trades he sent us this week, which was kind of awesome. And then we're going to talk about where we're at with the club. So let me just share my screen and get this up here. So this was a trade he took, sent it through. The white lines here you can see are the stop placement. So when the entry, so that was the entry. This original stop was there. So what was the R on there? I can't remember what he said.
I think it was 7.
7R, right? So 7R.
Well, he split the position. You can see
okay.
that he took some off, right? The first exit. So combined over the 2 exits, he made 7R.
Yeah, and so this is a gold 5-minute chart, and these white lines here are where he trailed his stop loss. I'm assuming he actually sent it to you, so I'm not too sure, but is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he didn't know what he was going to take out of this trade is the thing. It was dynamic, completely dynamic, which is what we're after. And it's good to see him making progress like this. So well done, Ali. And if Ali, we didn't know Ali until he entered. Well, he commented on one of the videos ages back. And he's now, I suppose, our core beta tester, which is crazy cool. We'll actually try and get him on the show at some point in the future. Now, other things that we're doing here, and we can jump into the sort of start of the members area. So this is what it's looking like. A lot of this is actually fleshed out. I've done about 29% of the material already. Now, there's a ton more to go. So we're currently working at 5 modules. The whole thing we're looking at is going to be about a 3 months completion on after starting, here on the welcome video. It's probably going to take you about 3 months to get through it, assuming that we do launch the Dynamic Traders Club. So at the moment, it's still up in the air as to whether or not we're even going to make this public. But yeah, it's looking at 3 month completion where we've got things like assignments that you're going to need to do to get to the next level and that kind of thing, which is kind of cool because a lot of the times, and I'm one of the sort of culprits here, is you get a course, you skim through it as fast as you can, and then you kind of retain a little bit, make a few little notes on the stuff you like, and all the stuff you don't like, you just ignore, and then you come up with this random trading strategy which has got nothing to do with what they taught, or has got all the stuff that you think's boring and meaningless excluded, and next thing you know, you're losing trade after trade. Now, we're trying to avoid that here with anyone that does want to come on board and try this out. by giving you guys assignments that we're actually going to mark, right? So we've decided that that is the best way for us traders who or aspiring traders to learn, is to force you to do the work, which, JJ obviously did it off his own back. So that's where we're at with the Dynamic Traders Club. Have I missed anything here, JJ? I can't remember.
No, I think you pretty much covered everything. I think you've just hit on there something I believe is very important. When I started my journey, I didn't have anybody. I was accountable to myself, and to do that, you need great discipline. But I've always been a highly disciplined individual, so for me, it wasn't difficult. But for your average person that lacks a degree of discipline, that accountability will work in their favor, by marking off their work. The traders are being held to account, a bit like you would in a university. You're being held to account. Somebody's going to check your work off and approve it, and tell you if it's wrong. You've got to redo that, whatever the case may be. Okay. In other words, it's eliminating the corner cutting, which is what I touched on earlier on, where people dive straight into trading. Okay, and they want to jump on a YouTube, get a trading strategy, jump onto a chart, and then they realize they can't make any money because they missed everything out in between, and we're trying to eliminate that.
Yeah, indeed. Well, look, let's wrap up on this, folks. So if you're looking to, I suppose, jump on board here, look, you can enter the prize draw. There's a link below this video. It's 150K mentorship with JJ. You're also going to get to see his track record in there, as well as registering your interest as a beta tester. And there's a second chance to get an entry in that prize draw by filling in the survey on the other side. So just jump onto this page down here, fill in your details, hit enter prize draw, and away you go. Folks, remember to also check out that losing trade video. And if you've got your own losing trades, send them through to us. There'll be a form in the description, and we'll check that out for next week or one of the future weeks here on Trading Nut and the Dynamic Traders series. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.